hope you've enjoyed the peer mentoring lessons so far. So we started off with just looking at an introduction to peer mentoring, and we learned that peer mentoring is a kind of mentoring, but the essence of peer mentoring is the peer mentor cultivates a healthy, positive relationship with his or her mentee, who is usually in the same age group, close in age. So when after that, we looked at the peer mentor as an individual. We looked at what a peer mentor is and what a peer mentor is not, and just the qualities that make someone an effective peer mentor. And then we also looked at the skills in peer mentoring. And who remembers the skills? Well, you remember I had my friend Catherine, and we were able to demonstrate some of the skills. So the first skill was active listening. And within that active listening, we talked about SOLA. SOLA, I need to keep on repeating this. Even if you forget everything else, always remember SOLA. SOLA, S, sit squarely, O, open, be open, nothing in between you, no crossed legs, no crossed hands. L, lean forward. E, eye contact. And then R, relax. After active listening, we looked at responding. How do you respond when your mentee is speaking to you? Yeah, and that's where we had examples of you nod your head, you just do, okay, and that gives the mentee the sense that you're actually listening to him or her. And then we looked at paraphrasing, where you repeat what your mentee has told you, sometimes word for word, or you reconstruct what they've told you without losing the meaning and say it back to them. And that helps you to clarify, did I hear right? And the mentee is also like, oh, no, that's not what I meant. This is what I meant, so that you're not moving along with wrong information. And then the fourth skill we looked at was the use of open-ended questions rather than using closed-ended questions. And the major closed-ended question is usually the question that starts with the word why. Yeah. So that's what we looked at. And today, which is our final training topic in this module, we are looking at ethical issues in peer mentoring, because like every other thing we're involved in, there needs to be ethics. There needs to be guidelines. How do we behave as peer mentors? Okay, so the first aspect, the first guideline as a peer mentor is the issue of responsibility. So both you and your mentee have the responsibility to work on building the relationship, okay? You have the responsibility of being the best peer mentor that you can. And so you put in all that you have learned, what you're picking up, and just be responsible for that relationship so that you don't destroy it, or you don't say certain things and you end up destroying your mentee or hurting your mentee to such a point that they give up on that relationship with you. And then the second guideline, which is important also, is confidentiality. Being able to keep private that which your mentee has told you. Can you imagine if you shared with someone something to do with your family, something to do with your dad or your mom or your sister or brother or cousin or grandparents, and they went around the school and they're talking to this one and that one and this one and that one, and and you walk into the canteen or the class and everyone's like, oh, that's so shattering. I think for me, that was one of the things that really used to break my heart when I was a teenager, because I'll be like, why isn't there anybody I can trust? It might not be a big thing. Maybe you just came that day and said something like, what? Oh, guess what? Today when we were leaving home, my dad was wearing a different sock from the other sock. And someone picks it up, your mentee has told you that, and you go and talk about it, they'll get hurt because they were telling you in confidence. It doesn't have to be a very big thing. So learn to keep what your mentee shares with you private, confidential. However, if your mentee shares with you something that is endangers his or her life, then you're free to break that confidential promise, and you inform the right people. You inform either the school administration in private. The administration includes the principal or the deputy principal, or you inform the school psychologist, the school counselor. Please do not just talk to anyone, but just go and tell the school counselor, tell the deputy principal, the principal, and say, I am a peer mentor. I've been working with so and so, and they shared with me this information, which I feel I shouldn't keep to myself, because I feel if I keep to myself, this person is going to harm himself or herself, or harm others, or they're going to violate a school policy, which may be a dangerous thing to do. Okay, so at least approach those 3 people, and then they will know what to do. Okay. Sometimes an example of when you can break confidentiality, if your friend comes and tells you, I feel like dying, you need to just go to the school psychologist's office or the school counselor's office and say, hey, my mentee, so-and-so, they've been talking about dying, and so if you came to me, then I would ask you, please come with your mentee to the office, and assure them, make sure you assure your mentee that it's a safe space. They can talk about, what's making them feel or think about dying all the time, so that we can help your mentee in a professional manner. Don't be afraid to break confidentiality when your mentee's life is in danger or somebody else's life is in danger. Thirdly, it's important just to put in place what I would call boundaries. Like when you get home, it's your family time, so don't stay up late. You're talking to all these mentees, 11 p.m., 12 midnight, 1 a.m. Remember, you're a student, and your teachers also need your homework done. Your parents need you to have dinner with them. Your small sister, your small brother, they want to play with you. So just put the necessary boundaries in terms of time, and know what, after 5, I need to give my mentee space also, so that they also give me space, and that way you cultivate boundaries. Or your mentee comes to you and tells you, oh, you know what, Tom, I was thinking you and I can do this. Like, we can sneak out of school, maybe tomorrow we shouldn't come to school, but we go hang out in the mall and just have fun. That's your mentee telling you. Guess what? No. Learn to say no. No is a complete sentence, okay? Where you're being asked by your mentee to break rules, please do not break rules, because you're going to get into trouble, and the badge of peer mentor, you don't want it removed from you. And then lastly, as a peer mentor, just one of the regulations to protect you, to help you continue to grow, because you're a young person still growing, you're also going through your own issues, have a one-on-one meeting with the school psychologist. Go to her office, go to his office, sit there, and just pour out your heart. Pour out your frustrations. You're like, oh man, I've got so many mentees, I don't know what to do, I'm feeling confused, I'm feeling overwhelmed. Or, wow, I'm really excited, my mentee, they did so well. The good, the bad, the ugly, feel free. Go into your school counselor's office, because they are your supervisors, a peer mentor, and just share. Once a week will help you to get that, that burden, that heavy stuff that you're carrying out of your heart. So thank you so much. I know that you're going to make a great peer mentor, and I've just loved sharing these basic principles or this basic course with you. Take care. Bye.